Welcome to episode number 68 of the Corona Diaries. My name is Rivers Langley. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Coming up, we're going to have two great parts to this one. First up, it's going to be me talking to Adam Todd Brown. He is the founder of the Unpopular Opinion Network. I have no doubt that a lot of you listening to this show probably found it through my appearances on Unpops. It's always fun to talk to Adam. He's one of the smartest guys I know, and truthfully, considering how many podcasts he does, he officially takes the title from the other Mr. Brown of the hardest working man in show business, because my God, that man puts out so much stuff and it's all really good. And then after that, Sam and I will be speaking to my friend, TV writer and all-around hilarious person, Amanda Sidwell, will be calling in for Miracle Miles. So sit back, relax, and enjoy episode number 68 of the Corona Diaries. Adam Todd Brown, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I mean, that's a lie. No one's good, but I'm good. How are you?
Man, I as I've said to people before, I'm kind of embarrassed with how good I am with just doing podcasts and just hanging out at the house and doing my thing. I don't know. I know it's obviously driving lots of people insane, but I'm pretty good with it, man, honestly.
Yeah, I've been mostly fine. Being in the same living room all these months finally got to me a little bit. So I'm moving into an office at the end of the month.
Oh, okay, cool.
But beyond that, yeah, like it's a good time to be in podcasts.
It really is. I mean, I swear, it's nice to have a task. It's nice to have something to make my brain come alive every day for some reason. Because I definitely, I think without this medium, I would be somewhere else entirely. But it's nice to have a semi-professional hobby.
Yeah.
I've been asking people kind of the same couple questions, and it's been overall, I've been getting pretty good stories out of this. So let's see what happens here. Have you had any weird experiences with your neighbors since this started?
Not really, because I don't interact with my neighbors much because of the layout of my apartment building, and also because I just don't interact with my neighbors much. One weird thing that happened, I host a conspiracy theory podcast.
Oh, yes.
And we did an episode about all the fireworks that were going off during the George Floyd protests.
Right.
And we were like, is that the police? And like, of course it's the police. But
yeah,
where I'm currently located, I'm like 30 minutes outside of LA.
Uh-huh.
So I was missing a lot of the fireworks and the bigger protests. There were protests down here, but not like they were in LA. And so I hadn't heard any fireworks really at all. I could hear them in the distance, but nowhere close to me. And we end up doing this conspiracy episode where we're pretty clear that, yeah, the police are definitely doing this. After I recorded that episode, about 30 minutes after we finished recording, one single solitary loud as shit firework went off right in the courtyard of my apartment. And it's like,
shit.
Fucking message received, feds. I'm done talking about this.
Man, I had, I have, you can see behind me, I've got this sliding glass door that also is my window that leads out to a very small balcony. And one of those nights, they were shooting the mortar, the big ones over my apartment building. And I, at first, thought I had imagined this. I was like, I feel like a piece just hit my foot, because I sleep with it just wide open, and I usually don't even keep the screen up on there just because it's the summer. There's not really bugs in LA, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like one just hit my foot, but I feel like I'm just imagining this. I'm crazy. And I went back to sleep. And then the next morning I looked outside of my balcony, and sure enough, there was like a little, half a fucking fireworks shell just sitting there.
Jesus.
So it got pretty goddamn close to me. So yeah, but I will say, I mean, I could really go either way as far as, who's shooting them off. But as far as my neighborhood goes, the propensity of fireworks here far predates any. So I think we're just, probably not the cops in my neighborhood. We're just kind of going on as scheduled.
Just selling them at a steep discount in the neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
I did have a thing that happened pretty early into lockdown where it turns out one of my neighbors is an opera singer.
See, this is the shit I'm talking about. This is the shit that you wouldn't notice, except that everybody's in their house.
And at one point, she was practicing, and you could hear her all through the complex. And it just happened to be at a point where I was working. I didn't have any music on. I didn't have the TV on. And just like a couple minutes into it, I was like, this is a horror movie. Like, this is everyone's home. The streets are deserted. And there's just opera wafting through the air. And not like cool, upbeat opera. It sounded like funeral opera.
Yeah. Just like little, like, you know, glasses and vases are just shattering in your house, you know?
Yeah, that was pretty weird.
One of the hardest times I've ever laughed in my life. My friend Caroline lived in this apartment complex like my senior year of college, and her next door neighbor came back from Christmas break, and he had gotten himself a flute.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yes. And it was the funniest thing because she told us about this at the bar. She was like, this motherfucker got a flute and now he's trying to learn My Heart Will Go On. And so he's just playing My Heart Will Go On badly over and over all day, every day. And we're just like, I think you're exaggerating. You heard that once, and, you know, it couldn't be all day, every day. And then, like, later that weekend, we were over at her house hanging out and having beers, and sure enough, just and then he would stop and do it again, and it became so funny that we were like hysterical. Like it was like somebody set off some sort of, you know, nitrous oxide bomb in the house. We were laughing so fucking hard that he heard us and stopped, and I don't think he ever picked up the flute again. Like, it was never a problem after that because he heard us cackling through the walls every time he fucked up and restarted My Heart Will Go On.
Why that song?
I mean, you talk about contemporary flute songs, you know, Jethro Tull is pretty advanced, but My Heart Will Go On, that's a pretty simple melody line, you know?
Yeah. I wouldn't mind throwing down on a pan flute.
Yeah. Get you some El Condor Pasa going.
Yeah.
You know, something.
Just sound like a kung fu movie in here.
Ooh, yeah. I get, or the Irish, the tin whistle. I've always been a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I have a couple of news items that I wanted to kind of discuss with you. The first one being the current state of college football.
Man.
The Big Ten and the Pac-12, I think, have both canceled their seasons.
I think they all need to just hang it up.
Oh, they all need to, but in line almost perfectly, doing what you hoped they wouldn't, but knew deep down they would do. The ACC and the SEC are like, fuck you, we're doing it. Football!
Yeah, that blows my mind. And are they thinking of doing it with fans too? Because you might have, at that point, fucking go whole hog and just have the entire fucking campus in the stadium.
I mean, I haven't actually read up on what exactly the plan is, and I truthfully don't know if there really is one other than maybe like letting in, you know, less capacity into the stadiums. But, you know, as we've seen, that's also a bad idea.
And to what end are they playing? Like, if you win a national championship when there's only 2 conferences playing, you didn't win a national championship. It's not like, oh, like people are going to be, when baseball miraculously makes it to the World Series, people are going to be like, that doesn't count because it's a shortened season. Of course it counts.
Right.
Everyone was playing. Of course it counts. College football, no. Everyone's not going to be playing, so fuck you.
Right.
Your championship is illegitimate.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And also, I mean, the argument that I see for it is also stupid, which is that a lot of these places, unlike somewhere like, you know, California or New York or Illinois, places that have like strong professional football teams and stuff like that, the South does specifically rely on college football for a great part of its economy. But that also, inherent in that, means a bunch of people coming to town and spending money, which is also what you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
It's almost as if we needed a strong federal government to sort of intercede here.
I don't know if that would help.
It would be, but yeah, that's just been all over my feed. It's just a lot of, you know, people I went to high school with, just being like, good, I'm glad that the SEC is taking a stand against fear. It's like, yeah, buddy, You should be afraid. You should be very afraid.
It's a fucking virus. You should be afraid of a virus. My God.
And just personally, it pisses me off because my parents live in Auburn. They live in that college town that's just going to become a fucking petri dish when all this stuff starts back up again. And they're, fortunately, I talk to my parents almost every day, and they seem to be the two people in town in their age group that are taking this shit seriously.
Yeah, I'm lucky in that way that my mom is very much not a Trump supporter. She lives in a tiny town in Wisconsin, and she's never been that political either way. But when Trump started running, she was just like, fuck no, of course I wouldn't vote for that guy. And she like lost lifelong friends over it and shit.
Oh, yeah.
But she's like, we weren't friends then. Like, who cares?
Yeah, fuck them, for real.
Fuck them. Have you been watching any professional sports that have come back?
Just wrestling. That's the sport of kings, as they say.
I've been way into baseball and basketball both.
Yeah, I was, I only started following basketball on a college level last year when Auburn got in the Final Four. That is when I became activated as far as watching basketball, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I like this. So it's on my list of things to get into is basketball. But the thing I was talking about on this show a couple of weeks ago when they actually started back and started doing the Orlando bubble and all that stuff was like, and I get that he's kind of got that Michael Jordan thing of like win at all costs or whatever. But I was like, dude, if I was LeBron James, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. No.
Yeah. The only thing with the NBA is they're handling it really well. Like that's also pretty much a contact sport, and like no one's coming down with coronavirus, unlike baseball, which baseball I was the one like no one's gonna fucking catch coronavirus playing baseball. You're not even within 50 feet of each other. And of course half the Marlins get coronavirus on day one.
Yeah, because I read about that. I'm like, in baseball, because yeah, you're right, it's almost never a contact sport unless you tag someone out. And even then, you got to glove. I don't know. That's wild. But they must just be, I don't know. Is everybody in baseball like ultra conservative and they're just in the locker room breathing on each other and shit?
Well, in the case of the Marlins, a bunch of them went to a casino.
Oh, that'll do it. Oh, Florida. I forgot.
And that's because baseball, like they're like, we can trust our players to do the right thing. And it's like, no, you can't. Baseball's all white rednecks.
Yeah,
None of them are wearing masks.
Yes, and lest we forget that Florida-ness covers all races and creeds and sexes.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't stop a bunch of Florida people from going to Hard Rock Seminole, baby. Woo!
Oh man.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because with the basketball thing, I mean, so yeah, they so far I guess have been good, and it has been kind of interesting to see all of the Twitter stuff of them in their hotel rooms being like, this sucks, in like a 5-star hotel room. It's like, all right, buddy.
Yeah, and the one controversy has been Lou Williams, because he went and got chicken wings at a strip club when he was outside the NBA bubble. But it's like, man, those chicken wings are named after him.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to go pick them up for takeout when you're in town.
Well, at least he got them for takeout. Did he get the strippers for takeout too?
Well, that's the thing. So many people were like, no one goes to a strip club for food. Fucking Google the wings at Magic City in Atlanta. If I'm ever in Atlanta, the first place I'm going is Magic City to get wings. Me and my girlfriend have confirmed that if we are both ever in Atlanta, the first place we are going is to that strip club to get those fucking wings.
Oh, hell yeah.
They look delightful.
I was going to ask if you read the story about Delaware, where they announced that the state will no longer regularly announce positive COVID cases in schools and will instead do so on a case-by-case basis. So it will also not require teachers and staff to undergo testing before the school year begins. And they decided that whether to publicly announce confirmed cases, quote, and this is from a Division of Health official, it's a decision left to the individual schools and school districts. And a school would not tell all parents that their child's teacher tested positive for COVID. They would likely send out a message to the whole school community and inform them that a person or adult had tested positive. So no more public announcements.
What's their justification for that?
I genuinely think it's because if they think rightfully, and this is the way it should be, that if they announce like, hey, someone in the school has COVID, everyone will just stop going to school. And it's like, yeah, no one should be going to school.
Yeah, that's how it works. If you're all packed into the same building and one of you gets COVID, you got to go home.
Right. Unless your school is being taught on, a football field with 20 kids on a windswept prairie, then no.
Yeah.
Stop. You ought not be doing that. I am happy that, if nothing else, this pandemic has demonstrated that though the South may be dumb, we're not alone. We're still stuck on the island, but we can see other ships that are about to crash into the island too.
I'll tell you this, Sturgis didn't happen in the South.
Oh my God, yes. And I didn't know that I could be disappointed in Smash Mouth, but here we are.
That part surprises me less. I feel like if you told me Smash Mouth was going to disappoint me in some way in 2020, I'd have been like, yeah, I can see that. They're due.
Yeah.
They've had a good run.
Yeah. It's a band that, you don't really think about until they do something either great or fucked up. And of course, Smash Mouth was responsible for one of my favorite internet videos, which is Smash Mouth Eats the Eggs. But all of that goodwill is out the window,
Yeah. I can't fathom letting an event like the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally happen in the midst of this. And it's like, the only bright side is the people who are going to get COVID from that are all the mask deniers.
Right.
But the downside is they're going to take that shit back to all their little fucking Harley Davidson corners of the world and spread it to people there. And it's like, you can't go one fucking year.
Oh, yeah.
Without congregating your goddamn hogs in South Dakota.
Yeah. Well, and it should be noted that a lot of people who are into that, because, motorcycling is an expensive activity. So the perception is a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, Sturgis, it's a bunch of these like, dumbass kind of, semi-criminals and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, those people are there. That sort of remnant of, the 60s, Hunter Thompson, Hells Angels, that whole shit. That's still there in some amount, but like the sort of like Gen X, like older millennial crowd that goes to these things, a lot of them are like dentists.
Yeah.
They're either professional managerial class type people or they're like small business owners and shit. They're people who interact with, it's not like these bikers only see other bikers.
Right.
This guy's going to be at Sturgis fucking listening to Seether and Smash Mouth, and then on Monday he's going to be back cleaning everyone's teeth in the town that he lives in.
Yeah, I lived in South Dakota.
Oh yeah, that's right. Have you been to a Sturgis rally?
Fuck no. Like, I had no desire to ever, and I lived there for 10 years.
Wow.
And in South Dakota, it's just owning a Harley Davidson is what you aspire to. Like, that's what people fucking work toward. It's like making the NBA.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's once you've got that Harley and you can go to Sturgis, I mean, the next step there is just a boat so you can go to the lake every weekend.
Yeah.
And then your life is set. So yeah, the people that are going to Sturgis, like I know a guy who owned a car dealership who would go every year.
Yep.
It's not fucking biker gangs. It's regular Joes.
Yeah.
Just bringing COVID back from South Dakota with them.
Right.
South Dakota.
Hell yeah. Woo! Yeah, that was shocking. Steve Harwell, the lead singer of Smash Mouth, he said the thing that he got quoted in all of the, kind of news reports and stuff, which was like, fuck this COVID shit or whatever. But if you watch the video, he said it in a moment where he was like trying to get real with the audience. And so like there was no music playing. He was just up there just being like, yeah, man, I've been stuck in my house for all this time. It just feels good to be back. Be back with my people. Be back with you guys. Fuck that COVID shit. And that's what got quoted. It's like, no, this is a deeply sad man. Let's talk about that.
He doesn't have a house.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know, man. Shrek still sells a lot of DVDs. I bet he's doing fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that song was made for Mystery Men, if you recall, but it ended up in so many movies.
Which song?
All Star.
All Star?
Yeah, the music video begins with Ben Stiller and Dane Cook auditioning superheroes, and then Steve Harwell walks up and starts singing the song.
Wow. What a trifecta of awful that is. I mean, Ben Stiller's fine, I guess.
Yeah. Ben Stiller's, I'm sure he's very fine with just sitting inside and not being a fucking asshole.
What if he was touring with Smash Mouth? Like, holy shit. Is that Ben Stiller on bass?
Yeah.
I saw that coming. Just not even acknowledging it.
Yeah. They never say anything about it. It's just you're just supposed to notice. That was what I did when I, there was that run there for a while where Jeff Goldblum was doing those jazz shows here in LA. I think he still does, or, in pre-COVID times, obviously. But just to be funny, if I had friends in town and I knew Jeff Goldblum was going to be playing at that bar, I would just go and be like, hey, let's go get a drink at my favorite bar. And I wouldn't tell them, and I would just wait for them to notice. So I had several friends come from out of town, and I took them to that place, and they were just like, oh, man, this is like a cool place. Wait a minute, is that fucking Jeff Goldblum?
Is Fred Durst still doing his jazz nights in LA?
God, I've been saying I wanted to go to that. Did we? I don't know if we talked about this, but yeah, when and if shit gets back to normal and Fred Durst comes back, that's how we'll know. The
Dursts are returning to their natural habitat.
Yeah, a weird jazz show where he wears fucking fingerless gloves for some reason. Did you ever see footage of it? It was really incredible.
I saw the fucking Lady Gaga dropped in on one of them once.
Yeah, and he's wearing fingerless gloves for some reason.
You got to be able to play the horn.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
it would be great if he was like actually up there fucking playing trumpet and shit.
Oh fuck, I want to go to that. Damn. If shit goes back to normal in LA, that's how we'll know. You will know it by the Durst Jazz Show return.
You will know us by our trail of Dursts.
That's right. That's right. The other thing I was going to ask you about, have you heard of this guy, K.W. Miller?
I don't think so.
He is a congressional candidate. He's running as an independent for Florida's 18th congressional district in the House of Representatives. And he is essentially just trolling people as like a right-wing shithead is kind of his thing. So he's basically trying to build this candidacy from nothing. Really, people have only really become aware of him in the past like couple months because essentially anytime anyone does anything, he'll release some crazy statement about it. And then if there's nothing to talk about, he'll say shit like this. This is from GameRant.com. A congressional candidate claims that Dragon Ball Z is one of the worst offenders of over-sexualizing characters among anime.
I don't really fuck with anime, so far, he could be right. I wouldn't know.
I mean, I don't fuck with anime either, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, they showed Dragon Ball Z on the Cartoon Network at like 3 o'clock every day right after school. It's not, it's just, I think everyone has big muscles. So that's about as far as the sexual nature of it goes. K.W. Miller accused Dragon Ball Z of being a top issue regarding anime porn. The exact statement of Miller's tweet reads, quote, "They are now introducing a great deal of anime porn into the internet matrix."
The internet matrix.
He then followed by saying, quote, "Dragon Ball Z is one of the top issues here. They are sexualizing cartoon characters to push a depraved agenda on our kids," he says, before asking, "When will it stop? When will it end?"
Is he a Dragon Ball Z character?
Well, here's what it is. And it's with all of these like right-wing lunatics that have like these very deep like cultural hatreds of just different stuff. It's like, dude, he's into anime porn. That's what this means.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because inherent in that kind of like extreme right-wing brain is a self-hatred of the monster that you see in the mirror.
Yeah, your dick's getting hard when you watch anime. So you're like, this must be wrong.
And he hates himself. Yeah, he's as the kids say, you're telling on yourself, You just played yourself.
Just enjoy it and jerk off, dude.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And because we were talking about
Wait, they're not all kids on Dragon Ball Z, I hope. If so, I take it back.
No, I think they're just ripped 20-somethings or something. I don't know.
Ripped kids.
They're ripped kids. I don't know. They shoot fireballs. This is the thing. I actually don't know much about Dragon Ball Z. I just know that, first of all, he's talking about it like it's a new thing. And I'm like, dude, Dragon Ball Z was on when I was 12. Like, I remember kids in my school who were into it at that time.
Yeah.
So I think it's been around.
You're not going to unring that bell now.
No.
Like,
yeah.
It's out. People have seen it.
There's DVD box sets Pets. It's on Netflix and shit. Yeah. I just also am a little bit, curious at who is he talking about when he says they?
And what is their agenda?
To, I guess, turn kids into sex fiends or something.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. It's very interesting. And also, this guy will probably not win his congressional seat, but he might be the president. These are the guys I'm now worried about. All of the liberal set is very concerned about people like Tom Cotton because
Tom Cotton's a problem.
Tom Cotton's a problem, but I think and saying this is hilarious, but this is where we are. He's too intellectual. Now, you need a big, dumb asshole to win, I think. I think that is the precedent that Trump has kind of set down, unfortunately.
I don't know. I feel like someone like Tom Cotton could come along and just do all the evil shit Trump does, but just look better in the process and look a little less crazy. I feel the same way about Mike Pence.
Oh, but they're such charisma sucks, I feel like. Like the Trump thing is kind of pathetic when you're not... I mean, it's pathetic on Trump already, but it's extra pathetic when you're not that charismatic. And there's so many of those guys that try to do that shit. Like we were talking about the Jerry Falwell Jr. thing yesterday, which you talk about an absolute void of a human being. Like there is nothing even interesting about his presentation. Like at least Trump is inadvertently funny in how buffoonish he is. Like Jerry Falwell Jr. will just talk just for hours. And it, like I said yesterday, it sounds like he's speaking in slow motion where he's just like, I mean, I didn't mean to get, caught in the thing. I'll be a good boy. Like he just does that. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not super worried about him, I guess.
That picture, it looked like he shed his skin and became a different Jerry Falwell. Because every time I've seen him, he looks like an Eastern European dictator.
Yeah.
Like his hair's all slicked back. He's dressed up. He's got the fucking villain mustache.
Yeah.
And now you see him on this boat. It looks like he fucking drove a tractor to the boat. I've never seen, I don't have that much of an opinion of Jerry Falwell's health or well-being or how he looks. But the minute I saw it, I was like, holy shit, Jerry Falwell Jr. looks terrible.
Yeah, well, he's drunk all the time. That does that to your skin.
No, it's just black water.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, no, I'm just
say Pepsi, man.
Right, that's what I said. I'm like, just say Diet Coke. When you say I'm drinking black water, it sounds like you're a character in H.P. Lovecraft and you're trying to contact the ancient unspeakable ones.
Yeah, people aren't going to have follow-up questions if you say it's just black water. For example, what the fuck is black water? Are you drinking coffee? Is that what you think coffee is called?
My friend, co-host emeritus of this program, Pat Riley, when he worked as a barista, and he did refer to it as I worked in the brown water trade. But black water, yeah, it does sound like a spell is being cast. You drink the black water and summon bats.
And your pants become undone.
That's the other thing, is it's supposed to be a costume party. It's supposed to be a costume party on a yacht, and the theme is rednecks, I guess, was that they were saying, is so they were supposed to be dressed like Trailer Park Boys characters, is what they were saying. And yeah, I kind of run into a Dragon Ball Z problem here too, where I haven't seen enough of Trailer Park Boys to verify, whether or not those are indeed Trailer Park Boys characters they're trying to be. But I will say that it's funny that their idea of being rednecks, those jeans that he's wearing and that shirt, I'm sure are both ultra designer brands.
Oh yeah.
So he's just like, yeah, I'm a redneck. I fucking, I'll put on this really tight pair of jeans that cost $1,000.
And I like that. He thinks just because he has money, he has to dress up to nail that redneck aesthetic.
Right.
Motherfucker, we know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You're gonna perfectly nail the redneck part of that party just by showing up and inviting all your rowdy friends.
Yeah, and having all of your facial features very close together and a very wide head, which I think is a side effect of drinking too much, but I could be wrong.
Might be.
He's got I think Bill Burr talks about that. The big booze head is kind of what he's got. So I think that's why he grows the beard, is to break up the, how huge his head has become.
Yeah. Who's the kid from The Sixth Sense who is an adult now?
Oh God, Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah. He's got his face never grew after The Sixth Sense, but his head grew exponentially.
Yeah.
And now he's got a 6-year-old's face on a 25-year-old's head.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to watch. He's great, though.
Yeah, I've heard. I have friends who know him, and they say he's a fucking great guy. So that's great to hear, because usually there's nothing to ruin a person's everything than being a successful child actor. So it's good to hear.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll ask you, and this is another one that I've been asking everybody. Have you seen anything weird at the grocery store?
Not really, because I only go once a week. Where I see weirdness is at the liquor store.
Oh, yeah, that counts. That counts. Zippy Rippus, that counts.
Because I have a liquor store next door, and that's like having a convenience store next door. If you need anything,
Sure.
you just run next door. And this isn't really weird, but there's a homeless guy who hangs out in front every day. And I always pay with a debit card, and so I don't have change. And for a while there, every time I'd come out, he'd be like, "Hey, you got any change?" And I was like, "No." And I'd be like, I use a debit card. And one day he was like, "Man, you fucking say that all the time." And it's like, well, I'm not fucking lying to you, but okay, now you've made me feel bad.
Yeah.
Every time I went to the liquor store after that, for maybe 3 months, I would take change with me so I could give it to this dude. Never there. Not there a single goddamn time. He guilted me into finally bringing extra money to the store just to give this guy so he doesn't fucking call me out.
Yeah.
And then never there for months and months. And then finally, the other day, it all came together. I had cash. He was outside the store. He asked me for change. I give him $1. Not only does he say, "Hey, thanks, man," pulls out a mask, puts it on, and then gives me an elbow bump. Wear a fucking mask, everybody.
Yes.
If that guy is putting on a mask for that interaction, you can wear a goddamn mask.
Oh yeah, I told this on the show, but I'll tell you because this illustrates the same point. My co-host and I, Carter Glasscock, went out to Joshua Tree. He's my roommate, so we're in the bubble, and just for the hell of it, because we wanted to feel what 110 degrees actually feels like, we went out to Joshua Tree National Park, and we went to, there's a place just south of Joshua Tree called Salvation Mountain, which is like this folk art kind of display in the middle of nowhere. Basically, this guy from the 70s through like the early 2000s just painted this giant boulder out in the middle of the desert, and it's brightly colored, and there's, but the point is, when I say it's in the middle of nowhere, I'm talking Roadrunner Coyote, middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And
there's no one out there. And even there, on the sign when you go into Salvation Mountain, it says, "Please wear a mask and respect the people around you." And I'm like, thank you. Even the anarchist, hippie, religious zealots that live in the middle of the Sonoran Desert are like, hey, we're trying to everybody be cool, man.
Yeah, just wear a mask. Damn. We're never going to be able to go anywhere again.
Yeah, this is why football's not happening. It's your fault.
Yeah, you cost me football. Well, not the NFL yet, but we'll see.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe we got XFL to look forward to. The Rock bought the XFL, so.
Oh, thank God.
It's all going to be fine. Well, Adam Todd Brown, it is always a pleasure to speak with you. You're one of my favorite people to talk to, and I love all of the great shows on the Unpops Network. Please tell people where they can find you online.
You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Unpops, and check out our podcasts on unpops.com and patreon.com/unpops, unpopsnetwork.supercast.tech. You can subscribe to our podcast at both of those places, and I think that's it.
Nice. Well, thanks again for talking to me, and let's hope that maybe one day in 2021 we can be in the same room together.
Yeah, see you some year.
Yeah.
If I was a kid, I would go truant. And then when I got caught, I would say, because it's not safe. But really, I'd be just smoking Xanax with my friends or whatever kids do today.
Did you remember any good pranks from high school, like public spectacles or anything
No,
like that?
that wasn't really a thing that happened at my school. I
No?
don't think. I saw streaking once.
Yeah,
at
that's-
freshman orientation.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think at some point somebody let like a chicken or a goat in the building, but
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I heard about it.
Yeah, we had
And it was one of those things where it's just like, whoa, that's so crazy, but really nobody cares.
right. We had one of those things where all the roofs in the school were flat, and they were not pitched in any way, and some kids got a goat on one of the roofs.
Whoa.
Which is that in and of itself is very impressive, to me. And then we did have a streaking incident with just about the most redheaded kid in school, which was impressive, but it also makes for zero anonymity. He had a ski mask on, but you see that fucking red ball hair and you're like, oh, that's got to be Andrew Lee.
Did he get caught because of that?
Immediately, yeah,
Whoa.
dude. Look,
That's so funny to be identified by your genitalia, because they couldn't have. You could have just denied it. You couldn't. They can't be like, well, show me your dick and balls.
Yeah.
Because I remember it. I have a photographic memory of your dick and balls. When I saw the streaking, the best part of it was that we were doing freshman orientation in the gym, and there was exits on like both ends of the basketball court. And so they just ran in one.
Yep.
And they were going to go out the other. And in the middle of the court, they slipped, I think.
Oh, no.
Probably the basketball court hasn't been cleaned in a long time. So it's dusty and real slick. So they just bust ass. But then everybody's so like confused at what's happening. She just got up and continued.
Wait, did you say
out.
she?
Yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah, man.
We get crazy in
That
Austin.
rules. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It happened so fast. I was like, did I just see a naked girl?
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Dude.
whoa, I just did.
That rules, man. Hell yeah.
But yeah, she was also wearing a mask, I think.
Yeah, well, you got to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when it happened, I don't think they got caught. All the kids knew who it was, just looking at the build and the amount of freckles.
I've
and
seen that dick before.
Well, it was, as many red-haired people do, shit fuck ton of freckles everywhere. The reason he got caught though was the assistant principal that year was a guy named Mr. Weeks, and he was fucking insane. Like he was that kind of. What they talk about with the famous serial killer BTK, Dennis Rader, that...
I love when they talk about it.
Oh, I think I spend most of my day thinking about BTK.
A girl told me it was her favorite serial killer one time.
He's such a fucking loser, though. And he's got...
This serial killer?
Well, he's even more of a loser because he wrote, like, poetry to the fucking cops, being, like, talking about, like...
And it wasn't even good poetry.
Well, no, it was just, like, annoying, where it was like, oh, Allison, why didn't you appear? Like, talking about some girl he was trying to kill and then didn't show up at her house, shit like that. But what they say about him is that when he stopped killing because he got a job as a dog catcher. So he got to kill dogs, and
I
that
heard
amount
about that.
of like authority, just that small little bit of authority, satiated the serial killer itch.
Yeah,
What he called the X factor.
He still got to kill mammals.
Right.
That's all he wanted.
Yeah, and
He didn't hate human beings.
Well, he
he
just-
hated mammals.
he just wanted power. That was his thing. He's a power trip guy. And once he was given a small modicum of power, because he could never be a cop, but he could be a dog catcher. And once he got that small amount of power, that was really all he needed, right? But I would say the same thing about my assistant principal from this year. If not for being an assistant principal in the year 2000, this guy would have been a fucking serial killer probably, because he was the kind of crazy, because they have several assistant principals at my school, and they'd be in charge of different things, like one of them is kind of about school management and whatever, and then this guy was the discipline principal, so if you got in trouble, he was the one that yelled at
the
you.
vice principal.
Yeah, vice principals. And so he would literally hang out on the roof of Auburn High School with binoculars and just like stare down into the courtyard and shit and like try to like spy on people and catch him doing stuff. So he was that kind of crazy. So when the streaker came, Double O Weeks was on it and chased him out to the getaway car, and the guy hops in the getaway car and they got away, but Weeks got the fucking license plate and that was a wrap.
We had a guy whose job specifically was to like, he wasn't a cop. He was a guy who would like chase down kids.
Uh-huh.
And he was like really good at it. When kids would like get busted doing something, he was like the adult hall monitor, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think his name was Cooper. And the rumor was that he couldn't get on the Olympic track team because he got injured. That's
awesome.
Because nobody ever got away from this guy. He was so fast. Like literally nobody ever got away.
Wow.
So if you got caught smoking a cigarette or a weed people used to go under the highway next to the school and try to smoke over there, and they'd always get busted.
Oh, really?
That's the always get busted spot.
Damn.
Yeah.
But it wasn't on school grounds though, right?
No, but if you're smoking weed right next to, or cigarettes right next to a school and you're all underage, you're allowed to go over there, especially when you're all students who are skipping school to be there.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Bowden Park. That was the jam. I smoked weed out of a Sprite can underneath the picnic table because it was pouring rain. So we were just hanging out under the picnic table, and we didn't have a pipe because we were fucking 13. So
yeah. Can pipes and public picnic tables they go hand in hand.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Young children.
Absolutely. Nowhere else to go. Might as well. Calling in now from the magnificent Miracle Mile in the middle of sunny LA, it's my friend Amanda Sidwell. How are you?
Hello, I am good. How are you guys?
You know, holding up. How's Quar treating you?
I mean, it's better than the first time I was in quarantine in an ICU, so like I'm gonna go with it treats me well.
What happened the first time you were in quarantine?
Oh, I had a strangulated hernia, lost half my intestine, had blood sepsis and multiple organ failure, and then endocarditis. So,
oh, shit. Okay. Well, this is better than that for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm super used to like people looking at me through a window and not touching me.
Yeah. So hanging around and watching Netflix has been really hard for you, I guess.
It is tough. I've gotten through 30 series now.
Oh yeah? What have you been watching? What's on the agenda over there?
Well, it seems like I've been watching like every show that I've been putting on my list since like 2016. So like there's all these great shows where I'm like, this is amazing. It ended 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So like the one show that's on that right now is *Halt and Catch Fire*, which, by the way, best fucking show on television that no one knew about. But when you remind them what it is, they're like, oh yeah, I heard that was good.
Yeah, I feel like I saw billboards for that, but I have no recollection of what it is or where I can see it.
It's Lee Pace being beautiful in the 80s and the early 90s with like everything that happened with computers and getting on the internet.
Oh, okay. All right. That sounds fun.
Yeah, all you need to know is Lee Pace being beautiful.
Well, yeah, what else have you been getting up to over there at Casa de Sidwell?
I am engaged.
Oh, congratulations once again.
Thank you. We are getting married on Halloween, so everything that we're doing is how can we make it a wedding but also spooky? So that's fun. And then we have to pay money for something wedding related, and then we have a lot less fun with it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I had a friend who got married on Halloween last year, and it was awesome. They had when you walked into the wedding venue, they had a coffin, and it said R.I.P. and then the bride and the groom's name, shit like that.
Oh,
it's awesome.
That's wonderful. So we know we're doing masks for everyone.
Obviously.
It's my second wedding, so like I didn't want to like wear a veil or anything because that just does not make sense. So I get to wear a mask instead of a veil. We have, I believe, 10 people, including our officiants. I am trying to convince someone on Peerspace to let me have a space to have this wedding.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, most of my time is like is either working in television, watching television, trying to plan a wedding, and then watching more television.
Okay. Well, that's, I mean, at least you got stuff to do, you know?
Yeah, no, I occasionally cook in there too. Although my fiance has been like taking over the kitchen with making bread and bread related puns.
Oh yes, you're right. Is she the first bread person, the bread household that we've talked to? Because this is
I can't recall another.
This has been a thing that has just absolutely taken over my timeline. With a bunch of my friends are getting into bread now, which is awesome. It's outstanding.
It's awesome, but it's also things that, like, when Casey comes to me and says, I need at least 10 more pounds of flour. And I'm like, what happened to the other 10 pounds of flour? He's like, bagels? Oh, yeah, and the Italian bread? Oh, and the pasta? Oh, and that other thing? And I'm like, okay. Here you go.
Yeah, I got to say, as a person who never stopped eating carbs, I'm glad everybody's back on with carbs. I knew you'd be back. It's the same reason I haven't stopped wearing cargo shorts. I knew you'd be fucking back.
Honestly, the best thing in the world about losing half of your intestine, besides always having a flat stomach, is one of the things that they recommend is that you eat a lot of carbs because it's quick energy and it's easy to digest.
Sure.
I'm sorry. You mean you want me on a pasta diet? Cool.
Yeah.
I remember once, like, when I was losing weight like crazy, I actually couldn't keep weight on. It was a really bizarre time in my life. And I had a doctor actually put me on a cheeseburger diet. And
Oh, that's fucking great. I want that. Where's that doctor? I want to hit him up.
He performs complex gut surgery at Cedars-Sinai Hospital.
Okay. Well, let me say that rules. I was so scared that you were about to say he performs stand-up comedy around LA. I'm like, no, kill that man.
That's on the weekends. I mean,
it is LA.
It is LA after all. Come on now.
Sure, he's the chief resident of neurosurgery at fucking Cedars-Sinai, but he's got to go to the Ha Ha Cafe in NoHo on the weekend.
I don't think you're allowed to live in LA unless you do one of those.
It's my favorite thing when I moved here. I met somebody at a comedy show. They're like, "Oh, you were really funny. Hey, here's my card." And he's a fucking realtor, but it had a headshot. And so he was also like, "By the way, I can also act. I can do a dialogue."
Of course you can.
So
see, my thing is because I am actually a native of LA. Usually, what people go is, "You grew up in LA? What's that like?" And I'm like being a kid who goes to school and grows up in any other town in America.
Right. It's only weird if you grow up in go into like Beverly Hills High or some shit.
I will say this though, is my high school has been used like at least a third of the school year. It gives itself over to television, movies, music videos, commercials. Like,
wait, is it Venice High? Which one is it?
No, it is El Segundo High School. Freshman year of high school, a Korn music video was filmed in our gym.
Whoa, which one?
I don't remember.
I remember the video.
All I remember was the lead singer hitting on my friend, and we were freshmen in high school.
Jonathan Davis. No.
Can't be right.
No, we thought you were the good ones. No, we thought you were the good new metal band.
Oh,
damn.
1996, those heady days.
Oh shit, it's 96. Oh, so we're talking like first like Life is Peachy or something era, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I am old.
Oh no, I would. All right, well, fuck yeah, we're gonna have to do we'll do an investigation. We got to figure out what music video this is.
Yeah, it's like all I remember is like they filmed it in our gym. It's like a super low rent music video. Like this is when there was still money for music videos and it was low rent.
Yeah.
Like partying in the gym. That was the video.
Hell yeah.
Hey guys, we like to go to high schools and party with underage girls in the gymnasium.
That was the theming.
And it worked because that's how they really are. And then that's why Korn is popular.
It was a little slice of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually went to I can't remember if I've said this on the show or just on stage, but I went to Bakersfield, where they're from, and Bakersfield is, they're the home of Merle Haggard and of Buck Owens. So these two absolute legends of country music, but also they're the hometown of Korn. And like they named the two major like streets that crisscross the town, Buck Owens Boulevard and Merle Haggard Boulevard. And for Korn, who is arguably a bigger act than both of them. And as much of a country music fan as I am, fucking Korn was on TRL and shit. They gave them a alleyway that runs behind the city hall that, I shit you not, is called the Korn Row.
By the way, the fact that it's an alley kind of like...
It's fucking hilarious. It's like the little thing that runs alongside the railroad tracks, and it's just all like crackheads and shit wandering the railroad tracks back there.
It has to be the wrong side of the tracks, too. That's the only way it works.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, it's the city hall side of the tracks, so I don't know what that says. But that's my Korn information for the day. Yeah, like I said,
we talk about Korn a lot on this podcast.
Yeah, it comes up a lot for some reason. I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I could bring that up to you guys then.
The whole 14-year-old girl thing is a great addition to what we will talk about with Korn in the future.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's one of those things that's like when you are a freshman in high school, you're like, oh, a band member likes me. Like you don't even like think about like, wait a minute, this guy's like 25.
Yeah.
And he's white, and he has dreads.
Wrong.
And he plays the bagpipes.
Yeah, and his friends are named Monkey and Head.
Yeah.
Well, it all fits.
You gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he showed up at this high school not knowing there'd be a lot of underage girls there.
Yeah.
Oh wait, this is the regular high school, not the continuation high school out back?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My mistake.
Oh, I thought this was night school. I thought this was tech school. Oh shit, my bad.
I could have sworn this was at least a junior college. It looks so wonderfully landscaped.
Is that where you grew up? Is in El Segundo?
I grew up in El Segundo, basically known for two things: A Tribe Called Quest song and racism.
Yeah, well, and the Tribe Called Quest song is about the Mexico El Segundo. I don't even think it's the California El Segundo.
But yet, from the day that song came out until 10 years after I graduated from college, hey, I think I left my wallet in your town. Oh, really? No shit.
Do you know why it's called El Segundo?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, I do.
It's
because when I was in second grade, we had to take like our town civics like kind of class, and our town, which was incorporated in 1917, was first started in 1914 as the second Standard Oil refinery on the West Coast. So we were very creatively named the second. But in Spanish, because we're in California.
Yes, that's right. It's the funniest thing because they just they were like, yeah, this is the most creative thing we could think of. So yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you, have you seen anything strange at your local grocery store or supermarket, liquor store?
Okay, so the very first thing that I think of is when quarantine first started, and we could not get eggs for 6 weeks, and one day, Casey, just out of like sheer frustration and desperation for eggs, said, fuck it, I'm going to try the liquor store. And I laughed at him. I'm like, really? The liquor store? We went there. They had cleaned out like one of their like refrigerators that they would normally put beer in, now had cheese, eggs, milk, and it was like right next to like malt liquor. So I'm just like, oh, this is interesting.
That's perfect.
They had to do that so they could stay open as a market.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Honestly, I think you're absolutely right. And then other than that, I have started growing herbs.
I want to ask you what kind of herbs you got going.
I have dill, oregano, thyme, sage, and chives going so far.
Ooh, those are a lot of my favorites right there.
Mm-hmm. And then other herbs I just buy because it's legal in California.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I'm throwing up the shaka right now to anybody listening.
I think the funniest thing is like I spent maybe like Casey and I, like, it's like every couple of weeks we're like, it's time to call up our favorite friends at Ease. And it's like every time I spend money at Ease, like 2 days later, they're like, thank you. Here, have $20. I'm like, oh, darn. Just going to have to order some more.
Tell people listening what Ease is in case they don't know.
Ease is the world's greatest service because they bring weed to your door. they are very COVID friendly. Like, they mask up. They have hand sanitizers. Like, the guy like had masks and a glove on. He like sprayed down his little like debit card machine, so then I could like put in my card, put in my PIN. Then he sanitized my hand. And then he sanitized the machine again and then handed over the weed. And I was like, you know what? What have we come to in 2020 when the weed guy is more responsible than our president?
Yeah.
That's why you order from Ease and you pay for what you get. And you know, it's a high class company. They treat their customers right.
All right.
I will say the best edibles I have ever gotten are from Ease.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bought a dispensary. It's in a delivery dispensary that's basically illegal. It's definitely illegal. But it's cheap. And this is what happens when you order from a cheap place. They take 6 hours to show up, and then they just hand you a Ziploc baggie full of weed. No mask. Their car reeks like weed because they've been smoking in it on the way over.
Where you're like, so good stuff?
Yeah.
You might have tried this.
It was good. The weed was good. It was cheap, too.
Okay. They should just call that like old school weed guy or so, you know, like retro weed delivery, because it is just sort of like old school, you know, drug dealer kind of thing.
Definitely.
You're like, God, this takes me back to my junior year of high school.
Uh-huh.
Can we go out back behind like the shop?
Yeah, it takes me back to 2 years ago. Really?
No, see, I am definitely like spoiled and probably a bit of a brat about my weed, because the very first person who ever wrote me a weed prescription was my surgeon at Cedars-Sinai. And I had to go to 6 different dispensaries before they accepted my weed letter, because it was on Cedars-Sinai letterhead and nobody believed it was real.
That's what I was just thinking. It's like usually they have the, you know, Doc in a Box, Dr. Feelgood letterhead.
Dude, I was thinking earlier today, there used to be this crazy open mic in like a television studio. And in the hallway leading up to it, they had a machine that would just, you could put your info in and it would spit out a medical marijuana card. You didn't even see a person. You just typed in your shit and swiped a card. And you had a medical marijuana license.
Oh my God.
I will say that my medical card is now provided by the finest doctors you can get through an app.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Oh man.
Mine too is just by some really high guys.
But you know, the funny thing is like, okay, I use it medicinally. I actually do. But I think the funniest thing is like for like the last 3 years when it became like Medicine recreational, I finally like I was like, fuck it, I want to have a card for a while, and then I noticed just how much more the tax was, and I was like, no, this is medically related.
Yeah.
Dude,
tax break.
I tell people all the time back in states where weed's still illegal, I'm like, don't push for recreational legalization. It fucks your shit up so bad. When shit was medical, it was fucking sweet.
When I was still, before I had like a real job again, and I was like a waitress at a restaurant, and I could like just get a gram for $10, and I'm like, great.
Yeah.
And that's it, just $10. There isn't like, you know, some insane taxes attached to it.
It's like 30%.
Yeah.
30% tax.
But you can still easily get a prescription, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but it's still taxed.
Not
like I think recreational tax is like 18%, and medical tax is now like 12% or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I think some places don't sell weed medically. They're like, we only sell recreationally. Some places still do medical prices.
Yeah, I was gonna say all the places that I've been into, and it's only been because I'm not a weed person. It's only been in the context of when I was doing the tour guide gig, as taking people. That's a lot of times you'd pick up a group, and it was usually the group of like young people with no kids, and they were always like, it was funny because either they were from a different country where the weed's not legal, or they were from like the South somewhere, so they were always like slightly awkward to ask about it. But then it would just, after we hung out for a while, it would come up where they'd be like, so what's the deal with like weed out here? And I was like, oh, I got a place, I'll take you, because I had There's a place out
And by the way, that like the soft Southern twang is exactly how they ask. Even if they're from another country, they have to be like, so where's the
yeah. But I had a spot because shout out to my friend Jessica Singer, a really funny comedian out here in LA, worked at this place in the Valley that I would just take people because I was like, oh, I can go say hey to my buddy, you know. But every time I went in there, yeah, they had like a whole separate section that was just the med section, you know, where it was like, oh, this is like the high grade crazy shit.
Because you're allowed to buy crazier shit if you're medical. You can buy like edibles that are fucking 1,000 milligrams. And if it's recreational.
thing that pissed me off the most when it became legal was like, all of like the really high dose like edible stuff that I used to buy can't do it anymore. It was illegal. Like you can only have so much THC in each little medical gummy. But it also prevented me from my first time doing edibles where somebody told me to have half of a peanut butter cup and I totally misheard them and I ate 2.
Oh shit. Oh no.
That was like, it was like 36 straight hours of being high and it was like 5 years before I even tried again.
Oh my God.
Whoa, that sounds cool though. Hey, let me save your life right now.
Please do.
Go to the website 420kingla.com. They have the most high grade MG edibles you'll find for the price. I swear. And they deliver.
Can we get them to sponsor the show?
Hopefully, look, you can get a 1,000 milligram THC bar for $30.
Fuck.
You can get these.
Okay, I'm writing that. Darn. Okay, seriously, the best website I came up with for this show was I was going to send you guys a baseball game in Japan last week had 20 dancing robots.
Oh,
and
that
it's
rules.
exactly as Japanese as you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's been my lifelong dream is to go to Tokyo and see
A bunch of dancing robots.
Well, no, specifically, I want to go to one of their baseball games because the interesting thing about Japanese baseball, the game you want to see is the Giants, the Tokyo Giants versus the Osaka Tigers. That's like the big rivalry. That's the Sox Yankees. That's the, fucking pick your rivalry. But the interesting thing about Japanese baseball is that if you watch something like Japanese pro wrestling, the audience is very respectful. Like they watch it and they'll clap if somebody does something impressive, but it's very, the audience is
low key.
It's very low key. Whereas if you watch American professional wrestling, everybody's losing their fucking mind the whole time, right? So American wrestlers talk about going to Japan and wrestling and how it's like it's way different because you're not exactly sure what the crowd is doing. You have to like kind of notice the nuances, which is funny because that's how Americans watch baseball. They sit there and they're just like, huh, and then if some shit goes down, then they go crazy. But for the most part, people are just eating hot dogs and hanging out. But in Japan, it's flip-flops. They go fucking apeshit for baseball. Like the whole time they're going nuts. That's their like cut loose, go crazy sport.
No, I know. It's like ever since this is, now you're going to know just how much of a nerdy kid I was. When I read Dave Barry Does Japan when I was 11.
Oh my God. Wait, you were reading Dave Barry at 11. Wow.
Look, my dad had this like foundational memory of like when he was like 3 or 4 of like his grandfather he was trying to read the newspaper or something because he wanted to know when Buck Rogers was going to be on the radio. That's how old my dad is. He's adorable. He's 78. And when he couldn't figure out how to read Buck Rogers, so like he would start randomly pointing at these radio programs and say, is that when it's going to be on, Grandpa? And no matter what, his grandpa would be like, yes. And my dad got pissed off and he was like, you know what? I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to learn how to read.
He learned to spite read.
Yeah. So when my brother and I were born, my dad was reading to us from day one. I actually learned to read at like 2.5.
Fuck. That's awesome.
Yeah. So by the time I got to like 2nd or 3rd grade, I was already reading at like a post high school level. So my dad was like, you can read whatever you want. And he really meant it until I started reading it in the 4th grade.
Oh, Jesus.
And so I was maybe a couple chapters into it and I came across a word that I didn't know. And I went up to my dad and I said, hey Dad, can you help me figure this out? And he's like, oh, what's giving you trouble? And I was like, well, Dad, this sentence, what's a penis?
Yeah.
And he just took it out of my hand, put the book back on the shelf, grabbed Anne of Green Gables, handed that to me, and said, "Why don't we switch to this for a while?"
Hell yeah. I was going to run this quick news story by you, Amanda, and see what you think about this. This comes to us from Toronto, up there in Canada. 2 blood-covered chainsaw-wielding men emerged from the bushes of a public park in Toronto on Sunday morning, where witnesses say they screamed at, followed, and lunged towards strangers while revving their deadly tools. So, speaking of horror, this actually happened in Canada. A couple of chainsaw wielding maniacs, and I'll put this picture up on Twitter so everybody can see it. It's not the kind of thing you see very often in a large Canadian city or anywhere outside of a horror movie. And yet, Toronto police confirmed that 2 people were arrested and 2 others injured yesterday when a quote large group of people were in a physical altercation involving at least 1 chainsaw near Toronto's Cherry Beach. So what it looks like happened is these 2 guys got their ass kicked, and then they went to their trucks and got chainsaws and chased people around, which is fucking pretty scary. Canada.
It's one of those funny things where it's like, if this happened in Texas, I'd be like, oh, it's Tuesday.
If it happened in Texas, there'd be guns involved.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they wouldn't get to the truck for the chainsaws.
But like my other thing was like, as soon as you said Toronto and chainsaw, my very first thought was, well, they must be very polite.
Yeah.
And then you look at their pictures and they don't look like that.
Yeah. The Canadian Chainsaw Massacre is like, oh, sorry, I hate that I have to cut you in half with the chainsaw there. Sorry.
Oh.
Those are some lumberjacks for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, why else would they have chainsaws in their car? It's kind of like what we talked about with the Antifa bus people, the people that helped out those hapless that hapless family that stumbled into that weird town with their bus, and then some of the teenagers just randomly had chainsaws in their car and were like, "We'll help you out," and they cut them out of the campsite.
How great of a short film would that be where you film it like very Texas Chainsaw Massacre, dark, moody, super high contrast, but like all the teenagers are really polite and they use all the chainsaws in very helpful ways.
That reminds me, have you seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
One of my favorite horror comedies where he's like, why are you carving that into the log?
Yeah,
hey, we got your friend. We got your friend.
I had a tweet go viral at the beginning of June, and the best moment of the whole thing was I got retweeted by Alan Tudyk. I'm like, yes, because he's the fucking man.
I know, like, my fiance and I have, like, the strangest, like, the 5 people you get passes for list. But like in both of our top 5s is Alan Tudyk. We're like, it's okay, go for it.
Oh yeah, he's easily the best part of Rogue One.
Who are the other 4?
Yes, let's run them down. Number 4.
Is it the host of River Monsters?
I would say that Lee Pace is now on both of our lists as well.
Okay.
I had Charlize Theron, but only if her head is shaved.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought she had the good hair in the Old Guard that we watched on our Patreon there.
Oh, so yeah. Oh, well, now I have to watch that because Casey, like, it came up on like our Netflix. He's like, and he was one of those like sighs, like, I think I want to watch this. And I was like, why? And I was like, why? What's wrong? And he's like, because it's a stupid action movie.
It's pretty good. I mean, we watched it for the Patreon. I watched it with my friend Ed Greer, and the main thing that we came away with it wasn't even about the movie so much. I'd give the movie like a B. It's fine. Mm-hmm. The problem was when you're done watching a super high budget movie like that on Netflix, it makes you realize how flat the world of entertainment has become, because you watch this huge spectacle, and instead of driving home from a theater and having that time to process, it's like Netflix is like, hey, have you checked out Unsolved Mysteries yet? And you're like, but I'm still dealing with this huge spectacle I just watched.
Yeah, I remember like the one time I hated myself enough to watch Bright.
Oh,
remember
shit. Max Landis is
that
bright.
movie was so bad it smacked me sober. Like I started it like a bottle and a half of wine in and ended that movie going, why? Just why? But it's also there's just that weird thing. Like, I don't know about you, but like I've gone back and we tried watching Jurassic Park the other night, the original Jurassic Park, and there's a couple of things where you're like, wow, those dinosaurs actually still, like, I still kind of buy it. Like, it's great.
I've watched now, because they all came on Netflix and I got nothing else to do. I've now watched 1, 2, and 3. And 1 is the only one where the dinosaurs look fucking good, and that came out in 1990 goddamn 3.
I know. Oh my gosh. But now that we've watched just the first one on our revolving queue of like, why don't you try something else? It's like every other slide is either Jurassic Park 3 or The Lost World.
And I will say The Lost World it's not anywhere near as good as the first one, but I like it. I like that movie because I like Jeff Goldblum. It's just 2 hours of Jeff Goldblum being weird.
Oh God, yeah, was it Julianne Moore and Jeff Goldblum in a bus going over the side of a cliff? Okay, yeah, no, good.
Yeah, that one's fun. Yeah, I like I said, still holds up. But yeah, it's here, and I'll say this. I think I know why. The reason the dinosaurs still look better in the first one than they do in every other one is because they were not confident about the technology, so they used it sparingly. Like, that's why. It's like by 1997, everybody had gotten so comfortable with digital animation that they were just like, dude, fuck it, slapping on everything. Whereas this one, like, Spielberg had a very difficult time because they essentially prepared to make 2 different movies. They made clay models, they did the whole thing in the traditional way, and then at the last second kind of combined animatronics and the digital stuff, but they were not comfortable with that technology, so you don't see it very much.
Yeah, well, and but it's funny because, like, especially when you're talking about Spielberg, and you have to go all the way back to, like, every technological disaster he's ever had, and, like, go back to Jaws. Right. The thing that makes Jaws such a great movie is the fact that stupid animatronic shark hardly ever works, so much of the dread is off screen, like, for what, like 45 minutes of the movie before you actually see the shark.
Right. Well, and in Jurassic Park too, the T-Rex wouldn't work in the rain at first. They had to.
Oh my God! By the way, that's one of the best extras. Is when you're watching like how they made Jurassic Park. Like if you watch the DVD, is watching that.
Yeah.
The big Tyrannosaurus Rex, like, basically have a Tourette's fit in the rain.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, shaking, and you're like, someone give him something to bite down on. He's gonna swallow his tongue.
And Spielberg was like, oh, shit, here we go again. Like,
I know, he's just, like, he's having these terrible, like, Cape Cod flashbacks.
Right. But at the same time, he's got to be like, guys, don't worry, this is going to be one of the biggest films of all time. It's okay. I've seen this shit before. We've done this.
I created the blockbuster.
Yeah, it's like those guys you hear about that went to Korea and Nam. You're like, yeah, we got this. Well, I'll ask you the other question, then we'll let you go. That would be, have your neighbors been doing anything weird?
Fuck my neighbors, man.
Yes.
Okay, so there is the mom with maybe the shittiest teenager in the world that lives below us.
Okay.
Where it's kind of half and half now. Like, I'll either wake up to my alarm or I'll wake up to this woman screaming at her son about how he doesn't appreciate what she does for him.
Oh God.
And like, I'm at the point where I'm like, just give it up.
She wants respect.
So, that one is not as much fun. But it's one of those things where like, half the time I want to yell at him and be like, be nice to your mom. And the other half the time I want to yell at her and be like, he's 17, give it up.
Yeah. He's almost out. Just go to get over the finish line.
Yeah.
Run the ball.
Our favorite / most hated neighbors are the married Karens.
Uh-oh.
Which is this, I want to, they're probably in their mid 40s. They have almost the exact same haircut. I'm pretty sure they share clothes. They're married to each other.
Uh-huh.
They have 2 purebred collies.
Oh, sure. Fucker rescue.
And every day the dogs start barking, they start yelling at the dogs. And then it goes to, what neighbor can they torture today? And like, I remember once, maybe, I don't know, maybe about like a month ago or something, because like, I'm pretty sure one of them's like a real estate agent. There was a house like in our same neighborhood that she was showing. I parked in front of it. Now, I kind of have a hoopty. My car is not exactly like the most glamorous in town. Let's just say it that way. I parked in front of where this open house is going to be. And she told me to move my car because it was detracting.
Your car is lowering the property value as we speak.
And I was just like, you've got to be shitting me. 2 days ago, I got Casey a general meeting. My fiance's a writer. And I got him a general meeting with a development person at a horror company. And he, of course, was really excited.
Sure.
And so he's like, and he has this big booming voice. He's like, yeah! And he says it really loud. And the married Karens, at the same time, from their backyard, shouted, shut up!
Oh, wow. Jesus.
To which Casey replied, no!
Fuck you!
And it stunned them into silence. And then, like, after about a minute, they're like, you're a fucker! And then Casey's like, I don't care.
Oh.
And so those are the married Karens.
Oh.
Wow.
And yeah, no, like they're one more story. On the 4th of July, some idiot like set off like a Roman candle or something that almost took out the transformer that just happens to be right outside our window.
Shit.
Okay.
That's a hell of a Roman candle.
And she shouts up at me, did you see that? And I was like, I saw something. And then like she demanded to know the name of our building manager, which I didn't want to give her. And then she's like, it's Daniela, isn't it? And I'm like, yes. It turns out the neighbor who does not live in our apartment building has my property manager's number and called her to complain about something that wasn't even on her property.
Oh, God. Well, you know, it's because she's probably been, like, snitching on people in that apartment complex forever.
I think you're right. Because when I sent one text to my property manager where I was just like, I'm sorry, you might get a... I might have fucked this up. You might get a call or you might get an email. She's like, oh, yeah. I know them.
That says it all. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a true delight. And I will say, if you enjoyed this conversation, Amanda and I did the What Did You Learn podcast with our friends Luke and Monica and talked about the National Lampoon documentary, Dead, Drunk, and Naked or something. I forget the name of it.
I have really tried to like scrub that from the inside of my brain.
Fast, cheap, and out of control.
Drunk, Stone, Brilliant, Dead.
There we go. Yeah, we had a good old time talking about that. So hopefully that'll be up this weekend. I need to get off my ass and get it all put together and sent to Monica. But please tell people where they can find you on the internet.
On the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter at NE Slumber Party. That is the letter E, the letter N, the letter E, and Slumber Party. It stands for Never Ending Slumber Party. It's the same on Instagram.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely follow Amanda. And thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for having me on, guys. This is fun.
Nice to meet you.
Of course. Yeah, we'll talk again soon.
Go to that website.
Sounds good.
Yeah, go to that website and tweet us a review of the week.
Bye.
See ya. Amanda Sidwell, everybody.
What would you do if you had neighbors like that?
Oh, that would be fucking awful. Just complaining all the goddamn time, especially in our neighborhood too. It's like
they would just move out.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That, I think just the very nature of our living situation filters out anybody who would, she lives a Miracle Mile. That's a nice part of town. So I feel like in this part of town, it's like, yeah, that person wouldn't last more than a couple months.
No,
be complaining all the time.
They wouldn't even know who to complain to.
Right.
They just have complaints going in every direction with everybody all at once.
Yeah, just general.
Leaving notes on cars, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. The Sturgis rally still going.
Oh, dude. One of the hosts of all the like event shit is this disgraced improv dude.
Ooh, which one?
His name's Chris True. He ran the New Movement in Austin and New Orleans.
Yeah. I've performed at the New Movement in Austin.
Yeah, me too, a bunch of times. Yeah. And now it got purchased by the people who like perform there all the time. It's called the Fallout Theater. It's a great place. It's a really cool venue. Support it now.
Yeah.
What this guy was just a shithead, sex creep, whatever. He's hosting all of it. He's been hosting it for years. I don't know why, but he's hosting it again. And he's like going up between like Trapped and fucking Puddle of Mud and shit.
Smash Mouth.
Yeah.
All that shit. I got this from Business Insider. Since Friday, visitors have packed into bars, used communal slip and slides, and for the most part, flouted advice from local officials to wear masks. Bill Converse had never attended the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally before, but this year he drove 29 hours from Georgia to sell his conservative pro-Second Amendment novelty t-shirts at the famous annual South Dakota event. Quote, "It's like COVID doesn't exist here, to be honest with you." Cover said he enjoys the, quote, "refreshing camaraderie at the rally where attendees, quote, love our country, love our flag, and love our president. From my perspective, I feel that Sturgis is like what America used to be," he said. Covers is one of the many visitors to Sturgis who believes the concern about the novel coronavirus are overblown, and this is what he said about that. "I've never met anybody, and I do gun shows every weekend. I'm face to face with thousands of people every weekend all over the country, and I've never come down with it. Nobody that I know at any of these gun shows has ever come down with it. There's a lot of suspicion that the numbers are skewed to support an agenda that's against our president."
All right.
Future news, this man 100% gets COVID.
Yeah. I mean, these are people that aren't gonna... These people don't even wear condoms in their crazy orgies. You think they're going to wear masks, you know? Like,
I got to set up a Google alert for what's his name? John Converse, or for when he invariably gets COVID.
They're going to underreport the stats. So, you know, government conspiracy against our president.
Yeah. There's really only one reason that I wanted to share this article, and it's coming up here. Politics has become a prominent through line at this year's rally. Stands lining the streets of Sturgis are selling Trump campaign gear. On Sunday, Sturgis attendee and COVID survivor Raul Pinard said that he visited a local bar but left after people there were participating in a sneeze contest.
What's that mean? What's the sneeze contest?
Quote, "It was to see who can sneeze the furthest out."
How do you measure that, though? There's some problems with this.
He says, "People were laughing and applauding. I said, what the heck? They think it's fake," Pinard said. Business Insider called the bar where Pinard said the contest took place. An employee denied the claim and hung up the phone before answering any more questions. And that was what I was going to ask, too, is like, how do you... I was like, maybe they have one of those things like they used to have on Mythbusters where they have like a slow motion camera and like a black background or something.
No way did they have that.
That's what
Let's
I mean.
Be honest.
That's what I mean. I'm saying that is the only possible way to actually detect who sneezed the furthest.
Yeah,
the other
I don't
way,
think they're going that scientific with it. They're probably just having somebody stand there.
Be like, "Oh, I felt it."
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, which is just, even if this disease had never happened, that is fucking gross as shit. That's disgusting.
That's some biker named Snot. He goes to Sturgis every year and gets snotted on.
Yeah. Converse says he agrees with some of the preventative measures, but only to a point. Quote, "My opinion is if you're scared of getting COVID, you're at high risk, then you should stay home. It's wrong for the government to make me stay home because somebody else might get sick. If that person is sick, let them stay home," he said.
Yeah, I agree.
So again, we come back to the thing that we were talking about last week. People cannot just take a deep breath and not, and think not of themselves. That's our national disease. So
they go to Sturgis every year. Why'd this year be any different? They're just trying to make the president look bad by not having Sturgis.
Yeah.
And you got to go win the gold medal of sneezing at Sturgis while watching Chris True's comedy set right before Trapped.
Oh, God. Yeah. I wonder, because he used to run the Hell Yes Fest too, right?
He does the air sex competition.
Jesus Christ. Oh, I wonder if he's air sexing.
I think they are. They gotta be. That's his whole fucking thing.
Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of people are going to die.
Short form improv with a bunch of bikers.
He makes, it's like
They do like a biker wild and out.
I was thinking it would be funny if it's, one of this might be a sketch actually, because they do those corporate improv things where it's like guys, we'll get closer as a unit, as a company, and then we'll do improv together. It's that, but with like the pagans or the Hells Angels or something.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dusty, can you come over here and pretend to be a bowl of soup, please?
Write it up.
Fuck you.
This is the sketch.
They just beat his ass like Hunter Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the show.
What?
I mean, I don't know. You got other stuff?
No.
No.
It just went by pretty fast.
Yeah.
The pre-workout will do that to you.
Yeah. I'll get you all revved up.
I found out that I had natural pre-workout that one of my old roommates had just brought home.
Oh, I thought you meant just like coursing through your veins. Like, I got this naturally. My veins are made of fucking
the pre-workout.
taurine.
Look, it really is inside of you all along. That's where the pre-workout really is.
Yeah. It's like magic. It turns out.
This natural shit tastes like hibiscus. And I tried using this. Let me tell you, this ain't pre-workout. It's not the same.
No.
You need the powder. You don't need the red stuff with chia seeds and
Yeah, isn't hibiscus like what people drink instead of tea because it doesn't have caffeine?
yeah, I don't fucking know. I think you're right about that. I like hibiscus tea, but not when I'm trying to fucking get jacked at the gym.
Yeah, I like the shit at the taco stand, the Jamaica drink with the hibiscus in it.
What?
That's the when they have the agua frescas, they got
the horchata.
Well, they'll have horchata, and then they'll have the dark red one. Then that one's usually referred to as Jamaica or something.
Oh.
It's like a hibiscus kind of the citrus kind of thing.
No, I never had it.
Yeah, I experimented with all the agua frescas.
That's good. Are they sweet?
Yeah, usually they're too damn sweet, but that's why.
Like sweet
that's why I
stuff.
like the Jamaica one tends to be the most tart of all of them. So it's more tart than sweet usually if they're making it right.
Well, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I ever trust eating food on the street ever again,
yeah,
then I'll check that out.
Yeah. Sam, where can people find you online?
Slam harder or on the Patreon.
Yeah, that's right.
Find my phone number or
Hell yeah.
Thanks to the listeners. I got some texts today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I've been playing one of the video games I got sent, the South Park video game. And let me tell you.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell of a game, dude. If you love South Park, this is the game you need to play.
Which one is it? Like
it's like RPG called The Stick of Truth.
Oh, okay. And that's like a recent one, I guess.
Yeah.
The only one I remember is the one from N64.
No.
Yeah.
They didn't fuck this one up because they didn't try to make like 3D character models. It just looks like the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what they should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did it right this time.
Yeah. I remember that N64 one was fun, but I think it's only fun in my mind because it was dirty,
It's a horrible game.
Yeah.
If you have any good memory, it's filtered through the fact that it was a filthy, vulgar thing.
That's what we liked about it, yeah.
Well, dude, and if you're looking for filthy and vulgar, you got to play the Stick of Truth.
All right.
Because, dude, you see balls. You can see you see everything. And they say everything, dude.
Oh, yeah. Uncensored.
It's South Park. Just like you fucking dreamed of.
Fuck yeah.
That's what's important here. Not the fact that they literally included everything from South Park. Like even the stuff from like years ago.
Oh yeah.
There's like references. I don't watch the new show, so I don't know if they still talk about it.
You got like a Mecha Streisand and all that shit in
You
there.
got like aliens, anal probes.
That's first
is a big
episode.
thing.
Hot damn.
Yeah, you got fucking other shit I can't remember. A lot of Jimbo. You get the voice box guy.
Oh, Ned, yeah.
They show a picture of Chef.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Along with some other, I think, old characters that aren't on the show anymore. I don't know. It's a good old time.
One of my favorite things on the South Park album. Besides, that was actually where I got introduced to my favorite band, Ween, because they have that song Homo Rainbow on there.
Oh, that's a good one.
Great song. Other favorite song on there, speaking of Ned, is him singing Feel Like Making Love by Bad Company.
Dude, I listened to that album so fucking much when I was a kid.
Me too. That's great.
God.
Fucking my favorite is at the beginning when Chef goes, back together for the first time in 20 years, Ozzy Osbourne, DMX, Old Dirty Bastard, and the Crystal Method.
Oh, dude, and that song fucking rips.
Yeah, it's a great song.
And then doesn't have the...
Ain't nowhere to run!
It has like chocolate salty balls on it too. And then there's the South Park version of Bubble Goose.
Oh God, we have Wyclef. God, there's so much good shit on that record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Boy, well, that's
Listen to that.
yeah. Listen, I'm going to play Homo Rainbow at the end. It's the funniest song. Well, yeah. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rivers Langley, and of course, go to at the Goods Pod also on Twitter. Shoot us a message. We'd love to hear from you. If you know a Rob with two B's, we're still looking for those, and we will see you next time. This is Ween Homo.